Hello, everyone. My guest today is Keren Moynihan. She is a former banker and second-time founder, and currently is CEO and co-founder of Boss Insights. The company offers business data as a service. Their single API enables easy access to hundreds of sources like QuickBooks, Salesforce, Stripe, bridging data gaps between banks and business customers in under 1 minute. Keren, you ready to take us to the top?
Let's do it.
All right. So, walk us through this first. Is this sort of a pay-as-you-go number of API requests per month sort of deal, or is it more pure play SaaS?
It's pure SaaS, and we're actually not charging by data because then we're a cost center. We're actually charging when we make the lenders win, so we charge per borrower. They make money, we make money.
So, tell me more about that. Are you working, exclusively with banks and lenders and connecting the two, or what's it look like?
Well, there's the tech side of Boss Insights, and then there's the market play. And the lending group is the first, it's the beachhead customer. Such a huge need, $5 trillion, and that was pre-COVID for business lending, that's where we dipped our toe in the market. And we work with banks, credit unions, and private lenders, but that's not all we do.
Banks, credit unions, and private lenders. Okay, can you maybe, just because this is a little bit in the weeds, you come from banking, so this is your world, but dumb it down for me, right? Can you give me an example of someone who uses you?
Yeah, absolutely. OKR Financial just today released a statement saying that they're working with Boss Insights because they want to be customer first. And their customer is the small and medium business or the startup company. They want to give people alternatives to equity. So they're already active and sponsoring in the ecosystem, and they wanted a way to be tech first. So that's why we're working with them.
Interesting. Is this like sort of a Cabbage sort of platform?
Yeah, it would be.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my audience definitely knows sort of Cabbage model, OKR Financial. So if OKR Financial is trying to do and provide sort of credit scoring algorithms to verify, SMBs, historical cohort data, and then give them a loan against that, where does your API come into play?
So there's hundreds of sources of information on business customers. So let's just keep it super simple. There are two main categories that lenders want right now. They're either traditional lenders, and what they want is accounting information, because the second a business says, I want money, they say, give me 2 years of financials, or they're an alternative lender. And then what they want is commerce and cash flow information. And what they're doing is some rendition of, I want a couple months or 12 months of the revenues you're bringing in the door, and I'm going to give you 1 month. Or let's say if you're above the crowd, I can't think of a company who might be doing this. They might give you 3 months. Who does that? Do you know anyone?
Yep. Yeah. So Founder Path, our thing, we could be a customer of this.
Oh, well then how meta? Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm asking you because you don't know, you probably don't know Founder Path well, but I'm learning about Boss Insights, but it sounds like we could be a customer of you.
Yeah, in preparation for this chat, I looked at your website. I have to say your messaging is spot on, and absolutely we could be working together. What we'd be giving you is a real-time view on the business, and then you can either lend to them yourself or you can match them with some of the other lenders that you're working with. Mm-hmm. That's the idea, that you're getting away from the manual data connections and the manual collection of information, which can only be summarized as somebody telling someone else to go clean their room. I cannot tell you how often we were trained at RBC. This is an opportunity for a discussion. No, it's not. It's annoying. Let's get away from it and let's actually have some fun. When you know what's going on with the business real time, you can do some crazy things like give them an answer real time. So
really compelling. And so someone like me or OKR Financial or your average customer, what are they paying you per month to use this technology you've built?
It really depends. We have economies of scale pricing. We have ways for people to test this out if they have 1 to 10 borrowers, let's say, but the sweet spot really happens when you get to a couple hundred. And then it is under $20. We have pricing that goes down to even $1 per borrower. So really this is change on the table. You can actually, it's pennies on the dollar to what lenders are making.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the sort of your total revenue divided by your total amount of customers, what's the average customer currently paying you per month, would you say?
Some of it's a little proprietary, so I can't exactly get into it because we are servicing some of the largest lenders. So, for example, CIBC was just on a panel with us. They're a top 5 Canadian bank. And then we're serving some billion-dollar banks. So the community banks, the one who are rolling up their sleeves and out there. Mm-hmm. So it really is a little bit proprietary, but the idea is if you're thinking about their loan book, What happens when they're using Boss Insights? A recent quote we got from CC Bank, for example, is that in 30 to 60 days, they got access to 2 to 3 years worth of leads. They decreased the amount of time they were spending by 80%. So that's what we showcase in market.
Okay. Talk to me more about the history here. When did you launch the platform?
2017.
Okay, 2017. And how did you fund the growth? Did you sort of raise immediately or what?
Not exactly. This is a tech fin company. What I mean by that is I, the former banker, am not the first person here. It's actually someone who scaled Amazon. And in 2013, he saw that you need insights in order to win the market. And sure enough, Amazon is in lending.
Yep.
He started mining Litecoin. The first money in Boss Insights was mined in a basement. And still yet we haven't diluted. We've essentially raised a seed round, almost $1 million, but we haven't diluted at all.
So just to be clear, you guys did a Litecoin token offering back in 2013 to fund the business?
No, we mined our own Litecoin money. We basically mined the money. And so it was just free. Honestly, to be fair, it was
hash rates, energy resources.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we had that. We're a Canadian company selling into the US market. So Canadian economy has a lot of funds available for startups. So if you're a compelling story, and what that means is if you're promising to hire more people into your company and you continue to grow, they will give you grants to help you get there. That's part of how we've grown our company, but we also have some debt financing secured as well.
I see. Okay, so I'm sure you're probably talking about like Shred and things like this. How many grants or funds related to grants where you're not having to sell equity have you raised from the Canadian government?
It's quite substantial. It's a healthy seed round.
Okay. So, I mean, I would put healthy seed somewhere between like $2 and $6 million. Is that a fair range?
No, it's less than that.
Less than that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So less than two, you've funded the growth to date with less than $2 million in grants or non-dilutive capital. Does that include the debt you raised probably from CIBC or something similar?
From BDC. And yes, it does. And then also just the sales are actually helping to let us grow.
That's the best fundraising, right? Is customers paying you up front, which is great. Okay, so 2017. So just to be clear, the partner that you started working with, who is ex-Amazon, you guys founded the company together. You have equity in the business. In 2017, you launched.
Yes. So he started in 2017. I joined at the beginning of 2018. And the cap table is really healthy. There's no investors on it. So if any investors wanted to come in, it's a very easy thing to get onto. We've grown since then. And we actually just hired our first non-founder salesperson. We now have a VP of sales. Yeah.
That's great. So just to be clear, the cap table really is you plus your co-founder.
Yep.
That's great. Did you guys split it 50-50 or did you say, listen, I'm the boss, 60%?
51-49.
Oh, okay. But you get 51?
I got 51.
Wow. Congratulations. That's great.
Oh, gosh.
I love that. He's going to listen to this and go, oh my, why did that 1% difference? Okay. So I love that. You mentioned you just hired your first non-sales rep. So how many people are on the team today?
So we're 8 people at the moment. We're actually hiring. So we're looking for BDRs and we're looking for front-end software developers. So if anyone's out there, please reach out. But we're really excited about our VP of sales. His name's Jordan Cohen. The person who founded the company was Luke Moynihan. He scaled 3 tech companies and he started coding at 14. He really is one of those savants in his own field. And so he's the one who's responsible for all this. Jordy Cohen, he's really incredible. I'd love to tell you his latest analogy about what's going to happen in lending. But
let's leave that as the open loop. Give us to that before we end. So 8 people on the team. How many engineers?
It's half and half marketing, half engineers.
Okay. So. And no quota-carrying sales reps now, but you have one joining imminently.
We have one now that just joined, and that's Jordan Cohen. Was running VP partnerships at On Deck, and now he's working at Boss Insights. So if I come from banking, he comes from alternative lending. It was the perfect match.
That's great. And so over the past 3 years, how many total customers have you guys scaled to using the platform?
So we're somewhere in the thousands of borrowers on the platform at the moment, and we're just growing. I mean,
how many lenders?
Well, we're hoping now to onboard somewhere between 4 and 7 before the end of this calendar year.
Okay, so still right now less than 2 or 3.
No. We have more than that, but we're hoping to cross the threshold of 10 customers by the end of this year.
I see. Got it. So you have like 4 or 5 now. You want to get 4 or 5 more before the end of the year. When I asked you how many customers, you use the word borrowers, but the borrowers don't really pay you, right? The lenders are who, and the alternative financiers are the ones paying you, right?
That's true. I guess I've been engineered to answer the question from an investor point of
Investor
view.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's fine. That's fine. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I understand clearly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you've got 4 or 5 lenders or alternative financiers using you today who
Yep.
touch and use your API to enrich thousands
Yes.
of borrower accounts.
Yes. And some of them they let us use their name. So, for example, we can now say that we're proudly working with CIBC, we're working with Venbridge, with OKR, CC Bank. There's a few others we can't actually say. So then when we're asked the numbers, we don't really divulge them.
Yep.
But we're onboarding at the moment 3 more. So it's an ongoing, data is the hot topic this
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah. So when do you, I mean, it sounds like you guys are early on, you're hustling, you have some early traction, really incredible team, it sounds like. When do you guys break like $1 million or $2 million run rate? I mean, do you think you can hit that next year?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. We love that. Now, if you do, I mean, once you have a little revenue scale, you can start to tell a valuation story and go raise equity to fuel growth more. I mean, do you think you'll be raising in Q1, Q2 next year?
I look, I don't know how to answer this other than to just answer it. There are people who have raised that don't even have any product or deliverables in market. And we already have that. We're proven and we're trusted. We have case studies released. We've doubled our revenue. So we're open. We always say we would raise $1.5 million. We already have the product built. But what we're looking for is not just capital. We want strategic.
Yep.
We want to work with lenders who really see that the market is changing and you need to be ahead of the game to delight your customers.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. So 2017 was your first year in business. Did you have any real revenue in 2017? Do you remember first year revenue?
No. Okay. And we started at the end of 2017. So we just crossed the 3-year mark. We really went into market in 2019. So all the sales I'm talking about happened in 2019. And then we doubled it in 2020. And we're looking to triple that in the next few months.
That's great. So what, 2019, you finished like 100 grand, 200 grand of revenue, something like that?
You're like a surgeon with this precision.
Well, you have to ask. I mean, I'm just backing, right? If you're not at $1 million run rate yet and you doubled from 2019 to 2020, you could have been doing like 200 grand in 2019. You doubled.
You're not far off. Yeah. Like the numbers are pretty close.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't divulge what big customers like CIBC are paying you, but we can sort of do back of the napkin math here. And congratulations. I mean, right? Scaling that without having to have any equity dilution is a really important thing. And a lot of people haven't done that yet. So give us the prediction. What's your partner think's going to happen to fintech in the next year?
So here's the thing. What we need to do as an industry is collaborate. We keep thinking of this as a competitive game. And yes, it's a competitive game. But if we don't collaborate, we're all going to fail. The analogy that we're giving is, we have banks here and we have fintechs holding onto their products like this because they think that they have to have the best product. What actually has to happen is a little bit more of what Amazon did. At one time, they were selling books. And now if you look at what they're earning profits from, it is not their own product. It's by creating an infrastructure that invites everybody to use it. And that's what we need to do as an ecosystem. We need to have the banks who are lifting up the regulatory burden that none of us really want to lift up, have this infrastructure that gets the latest in fintech. That's our prediction for what needs to happen in the future. And we're already seeing that the most innovative of banks are looking for best in class. So BossInsights separates ourselves from all the competitors by being the easiest to adopt. You don't have to code anything at all if you don't want to. It is like signing up to LinkedIn. And also, it is the most flexible to use. So it doesn't matter what lending model you want to operate on. We have the data to support it.
And last question, why does someone need to use BossInsights instead of just like doing what we did at Founder Path, which is just build an API connection with Stripe, QuickBooks, Xero, all these Plaid, all these sort of data sources?
Well, it's the number one question we're getting this year. Why buy you and not build you? And the answer is if you want 1 to 3 integrations, go build. And some of them are quite easy, like QuickBooks. But if you want to normalize data within a category, so if you want any more than 3 in accounting, you need to have an API shop to normalize the information. If you want to go outside of accounting into commerce, Stripe, Square, whatnot, ChargeBee, then you're really getting into the nitty gritty. And that's when you need to have somebody dedicated on the data side. We have hundreds of different sources, and you're going to see very quickly that we're going to move outside of accounting to commerce, compare it with banking, and then move over to sales. So.
You have on your website 800 applications you support. Are all those actually already built? Or if people hit and say they want a MailChimp integration on your website, you then quickly build it because it was inbound driven by CIBC?
No, all those were actually built. What we're adding now is is collaboration of our own. So if a bank doesn't have a Plaid integration or a Yodlee integration and that's what they wanted, there are some of those that we've already built in place. They don't become a dev shop deciding on, should I have an API to this accounting provider and this payroll provider and this banking transaction provider. We want to be able to give them one place to go to, and it gives them access to lower level pricing. So that's how we've approached it.
Very cool. Keren, let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
Okay, I'm just going to answer favorite book, not fine. Favorite business book. Okay. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, because that is what we need above all else.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Elon Musk.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building Boss?
Ooh, God, there's so many. We're using 20. I'm not kidding around. Slack is very helpful. I have to say LinkedIn is the best. We just switched. I am so sorry, HubSpot. We just switched from you to Salesforce because we needed a lead gen tool. And then there's a bunch of other ones we use. Confluence. Atlassian is an incredible company.
Number four. Yeah. How many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
4.
And 4, that's not healthy.
3 kids, 1 startup.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. Married, 3 kids. Can I ask how old you are?
No, that's just rude. I'm 20. I just have a lot of years experience of being 20.
Well, the reason I asked that question is because I want to ask the question. Now take us back to your 20-year-old self. So take us back 0 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, wait, the fun part's coming.
What does that mean?
It means that when you're enthusiastic about what you're doing, when you're doing something that's meaningful, the seat at the table that's always ignored in our industry is the customers. And that's what keeps me going, that there's going to be a point in time where we can measure business owners on their merit, not their collateral. We keep saying, you're a business and this is how I value you. But no one's valued on their collateral. It's what you bring to the table. So that's the best part. That's a sweet spot for me because I know we're so close as an industry.
As BossInsights, real-time financial data for lenders. They have 4 or 5 customers now, hoping to add 4 or 5 new ones in the next 1 to 2 months. Ideally, double revenue, break $1 million run rate next year. They've done all this incredibly capital efficiently. They've leveraged grants and basically non-dilutive capital from the Canadian government to drive growth so far as they look to really play a major role in the future of fintech. Keren, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that